Russia Business Report, hosted by Brandon Rice.
I'm Brandon Rice, and this is Russia Business Report, bringing you the latest developments from Russia and the CIS. Well, usually we serve up the freshest news for you, but today we have something a little different in store. I was lucky enough to sit down with Professor Ismail Erturk from the Manchester Business School. He was in town to give a talk on Europe's sovereign debt crisis, but I took the opportunity to speak with him about a whole host of issues pertaining to Russia and the global economy. Here's the chat we had at our studios in downtown Moscow. One of the hottest topics for discussion kind of in and around Russia recently is that of economic recovery. Last year in Russia, the economy seemed to finally get its legs back underneath it, following the 8% contraction we saw in 2009. Most analysts expect something similar to last year's growth, 4.5%. When you compare this to other leading developing countries, especially those in the BRIC group, India, China, Brazil, Russia is definitely the laggard here. What seems to be the reason for this?
I think, people tend to group together countries like China, Brazil. When we're talking about BRIC countries, you also have India and obviously Russia. So when people compare those four countries, it is convenient to put them into a category, but they have lots of differences as well.
Of course.
We know that China is mainly export-led growth, but after the financial crisis, they had a stimulus package, so they tried to create some domestic demand, but still primarily China is a factory for the rest of the world. That's how they grow. The case with Brazil is different too. In Brazil, what drives economic growth is obviously they're exporting to China, so they benefit from the growth in China. But mostly they benefit from consumer finance-led growth. We've seen the emergence of a middle class in Brazil because they can borrow money from banks and the car manufacturing. We see now car ownership spreading in Brazil. So consumer finance, consumer debt is driving in a significant way the Brazilian growth, as well as Brazil benefiting from, obviously, because they have natural resources, they have biofuels. So the cost of running your car in Brazil is very little because they use their own biofuels to run their cars. A couple of factors influencing both the internal consumer-led growth. But it's also creating fragility. At the moment, people are a bit nervous in Brazil about the sustainability of this kind of growth. India is different. It has its own growth dynamics. Russia is different. So I think we need to be careful when we are comparing. But, Russia's growth, Russia, oil, energy is important. And the oil prices, energy prices are going up. Obviously, it benefits Russia a lot. So it's commodity prices in the world, which is having a big influence on Russian good story, which is not the same case with other countries. So I think it will be interesting to see the key term here is the sustainability, whether the growth is sustainable. So I wouldn't worry about whether it is 10% or 4%, but whether it is sustainable or not, and to what extent it is driven by domestic economy, the purchasing power of people from wages, and then how diversified the economy is. So I think when we look at those things, Russia needs to do more domestic investments to have a domestically led growth rather than world economy and the commodity price. I think that's more important.
Okay. And the Russian government talks about this all the time, diversifying away from exports, like you said, growing consumer demand and these sort of things. But in Russia, either nothing happens or it's all driven from the top is generally kind of the way things go. Is that a problem for growth if the government continues to try and dictate these things from above?
I think that's the danger. Because Russia has a huge energy sector, oil sector, and really when you look at the management of those resources, it tends to get centralized because you're looking at big projects, big companies. Yeah, the small and medium-sized industries supporting energy sector and also driving the economy is key. In that sense, yes, the entrepreneurial sort of